How's it going? This is Fox back again for sound design tutorials. Today I'm going to be showing you one of the basses from my Serum sound pack EDM Essentials. This is the bass we're going to be going over today. It's a Growl. I'm making a little dubstep beat with it here. I'm using it in two places. One is a continuous sort of throbbing high pitch sound, and one is just a growl on its own. So yeah, this is the sound on its own, just two notes, nice and deep. Very throaty, very vowel informant-y. That comes from the 4-amp filter that we use. This is the same sound, pitched up a bit, played just one note at a time, and it's side-chained heavily throughout the track. This is what it sounds like when it's sort of throbbing and moving along with the track. Play the whole track in quickly. That deep growl at the end, I love that. That's going to be brilliant. Right, what are we doing? So yeah, I'm going to show you how I made this anyway. As I say, this patch is in my Serum sound bank. It is for sale now on ADSR. There'll be a link in the description that can get you there where you can purchase this pack. There's 92 patches in all. There's 28 basses, 18 leads, 20 pads, 18 plucks, 6 gated pads, 1 impact and 3 risers. I'm going to be going over quite a lot of the patches in the next few tutorials, but yeah, for now we will initialize this. So the first bass is a fret-like bass. It is one of the vowels. Let me solo this clip. We're going to pitch this one down 2 octaves to give us that grit. I use 2 voices of unison, pull the detune back slightly. Wavetable position I had on 8. We're going to modulate this wavetable position a bit later on. We're going to modulate the volume as well to give it that pumping feel that we had in the track. The warp mode that I used for this was asymmetry plus and negative, and I had this around to about 16%. Made it a little less nasally and a bit more mid-ranging. I'll modulate the pitch later on as well. There's quite a lot of modulation in this. We'll go through all that later on. We'll set all the 3 oscillators up first. Oscillator B, I clicked it, turn it on. This one was one of the digital spectral ones. It was solid phase. A wavetable position, I had this quite far away around, about 170, 172. So it was this siny sort of part of the sound. Down 2 octaves again. Two voices unison for this as well. Detune round to about 0.03. Same again, we're going to modulate the level later on, the volume, to give it that pumping feel. The sub oscillator, I had 2 octaves down as well. This one was just kept on a sine wave. So yeah, I didn't use any modulation, any noise source whatsoever. We'll set up the main amp envelope first. It's how it comes as standard, pretty much. I just gave it quite a bit of release. 800 milliseconds. Back the attack off to about 12 milliseconds. Decay, pretty much how it is as standard. So you get this nice, simple, plucky envelope. About 500 milliseconds, half a second of release. Okay, envelope 2. This takes care of the wavetable position. I believe it does a couple of parameters later on as well. Oh, it does the pitch, the 2 pitches. So yeah, for envelope 2, we're going to set this up. We want the attack around to about 232 milliseconds. Hold, dead center, around about a second. Decay, 230. Sustain on full, and release about 245. So it's pretty much a dead symmetrical shape going up and going down. So we use this to modulate the wavetable position for A. Pull it negative. You'll see what this does straight away. It's going to swish it across. Pulling it across these spiky waveforms, just giving it a bit more movement. So the other 2 things this modulated was the coarse pitch for these 2. And now I did the coarse pitch. I pitched the coarse pitch up first to 5.8, something like that. 5.58 will do. And then modulated both of these. Click it, drag it on it. So the starting position is 5 semitones higher, and we are then going to modulate it negative. In the matrix section, it's probably easier to do this. The coarse pitch was negative 14 and negative 12. So yeah, I had these negative 14 for A and negative 12 for B. If you want to get this sounding exactly, you're going to need to follow these. Yeah, this is going to give us a bit of a growl. This modulation was mainly for the deeper growl, the single patch later on, but it still worked nicely with this sort of throbbing sound. So envelope 2 is done, all 3 destinations. LFO 1 we use for a couple of places. I'm going to set this up. I'll set this to a basic sine wave, so it was a nice smooth sort of flowing thing. The trigger mode was set to off. It was set to sync to the BPM and anchored, and I'll set this to a bar. So this is quite a slow bit of modulation. This is going to modulate the wavetable for B, negative. You can hear that constant swing, and once the pitch modulation is done on the coarse pitch for the 2 oscillators, this gives us a nice bit of constant movement. This is also going to move the formants in the formant filter to give us that real sort of nasally feel to the sound. We'll set that filter up now. We'll turn it on. We want A and B to go through the filter. The sub we don't. That's just going to go, well, not direct out, but to the effects without being affected by the filter. The filter I chose was one of the MISC ones. It was formant 1. Cut off. Starting position around about 2000 Hertz, 1952, something like that will do fine. We'll boost the resonance. The mix, we didn't want too heavy. About 27%, something like that. Drive, this boosts the peaks rather than brings the peaks down, which gives us the oi famous yo sort of sound, famous for dubstep. And the formant I had around about 29%, 30%. Again, you can play with this to taste. So this nice smooth flowing LFO, drag it, drop it on the cutoff for the filter. It's going to move these peaks backwards and forwards, changing the vowel that you hear. Change the formant. Nice bit of movement going already. So yeah, that's it for LFO 2. LFO 1, there was just 2 destinations for that. LFO 3, this controlled the volume for all 3. This is what gave us a real pumping feel. For this to work, we need to turn the volume down for all 3 oscillators, and then we need to use this LFO to bring the volume in and out, giving us that sort of side chainy feel. For this, I did use one of the side chain in ones that you get with it. I believe it was sidechain one, yeah, and all I did was push the top up like that, so it's a nice constant curve. And I also drag the starting position down, so the volume starts at quite a low point and then peaks at quite a high point. For LFO 2, this trigger mode was set to off again, so it doesn't restart. BPM was anchored, and this was set to half a bar. So this controls the volume for all three oscillators, so you can drag it, drop it on all three, including the sub oscillator. Didn't have it all the way around, I had it about 60, 68, something like that. The sub oscillator just a tad bit less. So yeah, this modulation I've just checked. Sorry, I did alter this slightly from the patch that you will get in the pack. The patch you get in the pack, you don't get this side chaining effect, but that's what I had for this section. The single growl, the LFO 3 is not, LFO 2 is not used. Sorry, but yeah, gives it that nice pumping sort of feel. So we'll go ahead and do the effects now. Quite a lot of them to sort of beef this sound up. I use the hyper dimension. Click it, turn it on. 4 voices unison. Rate, detune I pushed up slightly, and a bit more heavier on the mix. 25% for the mix for the dimension, which does what it says. It sort of pushes it out wide, gives it a bit more stereo feel. Phaser. This is a neat trick. A phaser with a slow rate, and it just adds a nice zing to it. You'll hear straight away. Thins it out. Didn't do anything with it, just clicked it, turned it on. I also used a chorus in this order. I didn't change the stacking order. Rate for the chorus, I pulled right down. 0 hertz, so it's doing nothing. Delay 1, dead center, delay 2, bottom, depth, feedback, low pass filter, mix. All I did was boost the mix of the chorus. Next plugin I used was a distortion. I used a 0 square type of distortion. It's one of the ones later on. There we go. I didn't use any of the EQ. You can keep that to off. Drive quite heavy round. Mix just a tad. Go too heavy, it mullers it. I had it on about 4%. That's it, nice and straightforward. I didn't do any, well, nice and straightforward. There's a couple of different LFOs and a couple of different envelopes, but nothing you couldn't have figured out for yourself. The envelope to do a nice constant sound, and then LFOs to give you more sort of modulation moving throughout once the LFOs have finished. The only thing I did do, I used macro 1, I called it stretch, which is going to do exactly what it does. Drag it, and we want this to modulate the attack time of envelope 2. So drag it, drop it onto the attack, do this positive to the right. It lengthens the time it takes to do the pitch modulation, which when you play it lower down, it gives you a drastic effect. Fucking hell, sorry. Voice is warming up now, didn't mean to turn it on. So there you go, that is it. I've called it BS Growl in the pack. I'll show you quickly the Growl on its own just to show you the differences. This is the one you'll be actually getting in the pack. The only thing I added to that last one was the side chain, which I did by LFO 2. Everything else is the same, as you can see. The effects are the same, the distortion, oscillator, and you've got the stretch mode there. So I'll solo this one. If I stretch this now, if you add longer notes, if we doubled the length of this MIDI clip or tripled it or whatever, joined it all together, and then play with the stretch knob, you can have the growl lasting longer. Best played just over a bar, really. That's 3 bars or so. Yeah, all in all, real lovely, deep, vowly, growly, dubsteppy thing. It does it ever so well. It's called Bass 21 here. This is before I named it. But yeah, I'll play this little thing through again so you can hear everything. That's muted. This is that first one that we did, but I just bounced it down just to put some extra side chaining on it. So same, but yeah, all in. This is a little arpeggio I've got running over it as well. There you have it. Bass Growl. It's called the Growl in my EDM Serum sound pack. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you learned something. Any questions on this, let me know. As I say, EDM sound pack's out now. Go grab it. Thanks a lot for watching. Cheers.